Mm-hmm.
Setting it up. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Show 57, dude.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Heinz 57. Bill will be proud.
Yeah. Go, Heinz. Go, Heinz. We all know that Heinz is different in America than it is overseas, Europe, and all that jazz.
Well, I mean, you just see those food. They were having all these hearings about the food system on Capitol Hill, and great that when Trump gets in, that Bobby Kennedy's going to be heading up that department and trying to fix that bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like massive amount of ingredients that are in our food that's not in anybody else's food. For instance, like breakfast cereals for kids, loaded with dyes, like shitty petroleum-based, horrible for you dyes
Yeah.
that are
Unnecessary.
probably causing hormone disruption in kids, all kinds of problems. Banned in Canada,
Right.
banned everywhere else. But here in America, great. Put in your red dye 40 and your blue 4 and whatever the fuck the numbers are. And but in other countries they're banned, like because they're like, yeah, the kids don't need to be eating this stuff.
And it's just for looks. It's not like it
Yeah,
has any sort of nutritional value or anything like
right.
that. Kids
And
are going to,
most countries have figured out ways to use more natural products to make the colors.
right.
And they don't look as vibrant, but who cares? Who fuck you're like who what some little kids can be like, I don't eat those Lucky Charms. They don't look vibrant enough to me. Like, whatever. I don't care.
Right. They still got all the sugar in them that the kids
Yeah.
are searching for.
I mean, that's a whole different subject, but the dyes themselves, they're horrible for you. They're
Right.
fucking horrible for you.
Yeah.
Even my kids know this. They always try to avoid dyes.
I gotta start doing it more. I mean, I like I said, I eat relatively healthy, but like shit like that should not be things that we have to worry about as food consumers in America.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
does it look too green? Because it probably is, and they're dyeing it with whatever.
the FDA, Big Food, and Big Pharma are all in bed together.
Yeah.
So don't
All
worry. There's nothing corrupt going on.
no.
They're all for your safety. They're looking out for your safety, right? As long as they can make a shit ton of profit from it.
Yeah, exactly. All that's the shitty part of capitalism is that it's all for for profit and
Right.
at the at the peril a lot of times of us.
I mean, for fuck's sake, Mexico has better Coca-Cola than we do because they put real sugar in it.
Crazy.
Mexico.
Yeah, run by cartels.
Right. But they have
uh
enough sense to ban high fructose corn syrup. Okay. Hmm.
hey now.
Fucking tards.
Yeah, so what is that though? Because it's not the cartel that cares about that. It must be like their Food and Drug Administration. Bobby says they should put cocaine back in Coke.
Yeah, well, they should. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what could be worse?
Yeah, I mean it's just as natural as sugar, right? I mean the way it grows.
It is plant-based.
Yeah,
You want
coca.
plant-based? Okay, you got plant-based.
That's funny though. I gotta wonder. Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, if all the things that they made illegal as far as drug wise and stuff goes, like, are not as bad as they say. And
Yeah.
not, it's just this is the way my head is going ever since COVID-19. I can't believe anything that I've thought was true for so long.
Well, Joe Rogan has that great joke. He's like, before COVID, I was like, I'm all for vaccines, the greatest inventions ever made, blah blah blah, great for humanity. After COVID, I don't know if we landed on the moon.
Yeah, and he's right.
Meaning, like, so many things have become that were conspiracies during COVID became real. So it's like you start questioning everything around you, except for the sheeple that don't give a fuck and just walk blindly through everything. Oh, I don't see that over there. Oh no, CNN told me not to look at that. Okay, great. I'll look over here. Yeah. Hi.
It's so
It's
strange.
retarded.
It is retarded, man. It's like it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess they
Yeah.
say ignorance is bliss, and I kind of understand it to a certain extent, but my God, dude, what?
Yeah, sometimes you have to get involved and like figure out what's happening to you.
Right.
And now you have a candidate selected for you by the Democratic elite who
Hmm.
is not giving you any idea what the fuck she's going to do in office. Fucking avoids every question she's ever asked, never answers a question, never has hardball questions because the media just treats her like Joe Biden in his basement. And like Kevin O'Leary said in this interview he did, he's like, this is unprecedented. You've never had a candidate who offers none of her policies to anyone, doesn't tell you what she's going to do, or she'll let some little thing slip out and sound so fucking crazy they have to pull it back, like price gouging and setting prices for groceries. Like that's retarded
Right.
and stupid.
Right.
And so you have a selected candidate, you have someone who will not tell you what they're going to do. Just
Yeah.
wait till I get in office. Okay, great.
But shouldn't the people who are actually running her campaign be like, all right, you need a platform now. Like you need
No,
to
the
kind
people that are running your campaign are telling her to fucking do this
right. So
because
she
they
goes
know she's a
up.
puppet. She is
Yeah.
not. She'll be a figurehead puppet, just like fucking Biden was for Obama. This is
Yeah.
Obama's fourth term you're going to try to get here.
Even though we know they're gonna do their own agenda anyway, and whatever they say is bullshit, at least pretend like you have something that you're going to run on and
Well, they don't have to because the media doesn't call them out on it. No one calls them out on it. So they don't have to do anything. They do whatever the fuck they want. And they're just
yeah.
going to hide her fucking jokey, cackling ass until she gets in office. And then they'll be like, okay, oh, yeah, anything that we said we're not going to do now. Not going to control the border. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, give us a fucking break is right, but please, like, give us a break, like, stat, man, before really shit, the shit goes to hell in a handbag.
Yeah,
Because
so you got one candidate who's hired like who has the super team around him. You got fucking Vivek, you got Elon Musk, you got Tulsi Gabbard, you got Bobby Kennedy, and he's the bad guy because they want to go in and have a government accountability office and shave off all the fucking bureaucracy and
make
get our food system
America
better
healthy
and
again. Yeah,
and raise our status around the world again, get our military back in shape, fucking make us energy independent again. And then you have a candidate who doesn't tell you what she's going to do. Hmm. And that's the good guy. It's like, what? As we always say, it's upside down world. It makes no fucking sense except for the sheeple that just follow along with this shit. It's insane.
right.
And I just can't even believe we're living through it. It's fucking wild.
And the things she'll tell you that she is for now because they're, popular talking points, like she's for fracking now, which it's
Yeah.
clear she's been totally against it for years upon years. But now,
Hmm.
when she's in a state of Pennsylvania and it's a popular thing to do fracking, oh, I'm for it. I would never ban
Yeah.
it. But
Oh,
bitch,
her, yeah. It's just her. Oh, yeah. It's fucking nuts. Drives you crazy.
it drives you crazy, man. The
She
fact
just panders to whoever she's in front of. She changes her accent. She changes her fucking, what she's for and what she's against, just based on who she's standing in front of. And
I,
that's who you want to be for president?
I just didn't think it was that easy, man. Like I thought you needed more to it than just that, like I thought you needed to have some proven, like, when you go to get hired for a job, they want to look at your resume, what you've done in the past to kind of prove what you could do in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't look at her past.
no, no. It's funny, like the most important job in the world, you don't have to go against things that you've done or, you know, have a plan or anything. You just kind of go in and get by with fucking nothing and all
Yeah.
lies and bullshit.
Yep. And selected. Yep. Just here's someone, no votes, no one fucking voted for. And you're just supposed to like her because the news tells you to. And you're just supposed to love that. Okay, what's she gonna do? We don't really fucking know, but it doesn't matter because we don't care.
Should we get into politics and just bullshit them along to the point to where we get in and then we actually do stuff good for the people? Like we pretend like we're playing ball with them and like, oh yeah, we'll kind of do whatever. And then we get voted in and we're like, no, now we're gonna actually do.
Well, you already have a guy that actually did that,
Yeah.
who said what he was gonna do and did everything he could to do those things, was blocked at every turn because of the fucking asshole Democrats and some of the rhino dickheads too.
Yeah. Jealous.
And you have, I mean, I remember when Trump got in office and he did shit that he said he was gonna do, and even the mainstream media is like, oh my God, he's like doing things he said he's gonna do. Oh, this is
Weird.
weird. But yet he's going to destroy democracy and they can't let him back in at all costs and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay.
I,
Kamala's better for you because she's done a lot.
yeah, she's done a lot of nothing. She's done a lot of, you basically didn't know what she was doing as the VP. She barely spoke to the people during
Right.
that time. You know, you barely knew where she was, what her schedule was, because she was a
Yeah.
puppet, kind of
And then
doing.
you have an administration who wants to censor you, and there was some judge that ruled that, that the government did commit censorship and was trying to stop. I don't know what the judge was, but basically the government and its administration is appealing that ruling so they can censor you. And then you have John Kerry in an interview saying that the First Amendment needs to be changed so we can combat misinformation. Who the fuck are these people? And who actually hears that and
Right,
goes, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." Like, are you that fucking brainwashed that you have an official like John Kerry telling you that the First Amendment needs to be changed so that we can combat misinformation? Who's misinformation? Who determines what that is?
right. And when
And then
did
so today it's this misinformation that's good for your party,
yeah,
but tomorrow it's going to be misinformation that you don't like. So what are you going to do then?
right. And that's the thing I don't get, Chad, is that John Kerry was somebody who was always for the First Amendment and all that stuff. And now all of a sudden he's saying we got to change it to so we could combat disinformation.
Well,
What?
that's the whole Democrat Party now. I mean, it's the party of war. It's the party of censorship.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
But that's how you get rid of disinformation by having free speech, by so you could get the other side of it.
There
Otherwise,
you go. We
yes.
have a sitting Supreme Court justice that said the same thing. Ketanji Jackson, whatever the fuck her name is, she said that the First Amendment gets in the way of the government doing its job. What?
You mean the government that's supposed to be for the people, by the people, and all that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Come on, man. It's not for the government,
And
by
guess what party she's in? Let's think about it.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh, Democrat. That's right. Yeah, she's for the Democrat Party. Got it. Got it. The party of censorship, war, violence, open borders. Yeah. The party that keeps shooting at the president, the party that keeps fucking, letting all the illegals in, killing people, and then they tell you, oh no, the crime stats are down because the FBI is literally not reporting crime in big cities. They're not reporting it.
Right.
And then they tell you that the crime's down. It's fucking wild. And people just fall for it. Like, oh yeah, crime's down. Look, I can tell in LA that no one's getting raped, murdered, and fucking assaulted and mugged. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Well, Chad, let's just pretend that the first assassination attempt, what was that guy? 20 years old, something like that?
Yeah,
But
20 years old. Oh, he's a
what
Republican. Yeah, okay. Sure he
regardless of
was.
anything, what he has heard since he was 14 years old, we'll just say the past 6 years, is that this guy Trump running for
Hmm.
president is, going to be a dictator, start
Yep.
World War III. And these are thoughts in your brain as your brain is forming at 14. Now, all of a
Yeah, he's a
sudden,
threat to democracy.
you're
That's what
right,
they tell you all day long, from the
right,
top down, from Biden on down, that he's a threat to democracy. What do you think is going to happen?
right.
And then there's never a follow-up of like, well, how is he a threat to democracy? There's never a question about that. It's just they just say the statement, no one ever questions them, and then you have lunatics out there hearing this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do they expect people to do with that when it's literally their rhetoric? Like that they're
Yeah,
saying like you can't let this guy get into power. He's going to do this. He's going to
right.
we must stop him at all costs. Like, well, what do
It's
you
their rhetoric, and then when he gets shot at, they blame him. Oh, he needs
right.
to tone down his rhetoric. It's like, what?
Yeah.
His people trying to shoot Kamala? Is he saying Kamala's a threat to democracy? He says he doesn't like her as a candidate, and Joe Biden's a horrible president, but he doesn't call them a threat to democracy. He doesn't, you know. And then they're like January 6th. Like, fuck you with January 6th. Bullshit, man. It's all
If
set up so they could fucking have you say January 6th. Oh, look, is an insurrectionist. Okay.
yeah. If he would
Bullshit.
have done what they are doing to him in 20 so in other words, once he got elected in 2016, if he actually started to go after criminally his political opponents like they're going after him for
Mhm.
actual crimes, we he kind of wouldn't be in this place, but he knew that that was a bad look for
Yeah,
American politics and for our
right.
government. So he didn't do it because he didn't want that. Like
Well,
he could have,
they had all the evidence in the world to go after Hillary.
yeah,
They have all the
100%.
evidence in the world to go after Biden and his fucking clan.
Right. Well,
But anyway,
let's go to our guest. We have a cool guest coming on. His name is Sean Fay. Gracious audience out there. Good friend of Chad. They've known each other for a long time. He's a agent to some Hollywood people. What up, Sean?
manager.
Manager, I'm
What's
sorry.
up, Sean? Can you hear us?
Can you?
Hey guys.
Yeah,
What's
man.
up?
Oh,
Can you hear us?
hang on.
Strike number one.
Can't,
Boston.
can't
Boston
hear.
hat. Ah, you can't.
Oh, I forgot. Yankees fan.
That's right. If you have that audio button to the left, oh, you can't hear. Hmm.
You guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. Yes.
There's
Yeah.
usually to the bottom left, like an audio button, where you can,
Chad, text me.
Yes. Bottom left, there's an audio button.
yeah, where you could usually click the up
My
arrow.
first and probably last podcast.
Nah, no. We love technical difficulties.
Oh, wait, let me turn. Okay.
Yo.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
You got it?
Yes.
We're
You
good.
can hear us?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you?
Yes, sir.
Boom.
Yes,
We're
sir.
on. All right.
Love it.
Yes, sir.
Hello, gentlemen.
ya?
Good. Hello, John.
Hey, Sean.
Who's Robert Hayes? Is he coming?
He's coming literally in
He's
his
probably coming. Maybe. He stays
He-
off camera. He's like that CNN guy jacking off on camera. Nah, Bobby is our producer. He's like our Jamie.
Yes.
Got it. Got
If
it.
you
Young
will.
Bobby. Young Bobby, who's older than both me and Chad combined. He's 130 years old. He's he's a mythical creature.
Right.
Where are
No,
you, Sean? Are you in LA?
Yes, sir. I am in LA, and I'm in the office. I moved down to a different office so I could have some peace and quiet here. So
Nice.
we should be good to chat. But I come in the office every day. Actually, I know a lot of folks enjoy working from home these days, which is whatever. But I'm more productive in the office personally. So
Makes
it's
sense.
my routine, and you know what I mean. It works better for me.
Yeah, that's cool. When
Yeah.
did you return as soon as you could to the office?
Man, I never left.
Oh, really?
I
Good for you.
yeah. During the pandemic, I came. Me and there's another manager here, and we came every day.
Nice.
And I just had, like I said, it helped me also just sort of keep a sense of normalcy in my life,
Yeah.
And so and then last year during the strike, I wasn't coming in. I was on the East Coast, quite a bit, so I wasn't in the office as much. But it's just like I said, I'm a little bit more old school. I've been doing this for a long time, and my productive space is in the office.
That makes sense.
Totally.
Are you still in the same office on Sunset there? Aren't you?
No. That was a different company. I'm in West LA now.
Okay.
Like Sepulveda area. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I gotta just ask the question: how'd you become a Bo Sox fan, man?
Oh, I'm from Connecticut.
Ah,
So the state is wedged between Boston and New York City, and I grew up 2 hours from each city. But just growing up, the state is split. But my dad was like, "Look, we root for Boston in this house," and that's how it worked out.
Good old
Patriots,
Greg.
Red Sox.
Greg laid it down for you. He said, "Okay,
Greg-
boys,
he made it easy, right? I mean, it was tough rooting for the Patriots when I was growing up, and the same in the Red Sox too. But it all kind of worked out. So yeah, tortured
Nice.
fan base for a while. So yeah, but yeah. So I'm from Connecticut. I went to UConn, and then I moved out here in the mid '90s.
yeah. So you just said something pretty funny. Yeah. So you had a bunch of shitty years before your teams became good, and they
That's
were
right.
doing stuff. So you hung in there for the long haul, and now
Yeah,
you reap the bennies later in life.
absolutely. There seems to be a parade every other year now. So it's Spoiled, and then between being a UConn fan, because I went to UConn, so there's just a lot of celebrations going on. I feel bad for fan bases that just have nothing to celebrate.
Rock on.
I'm spoiled.
Sean, can you tell me what a manager does do? Because I'm completely ignorant to like what an agent is for people, with managers, all that stuff. So if you could kind of walk us through what entails for the manager, what they do.
Yeah, I'll just give you a general breakdown of it. I mean, most working actors have an agent and a manager, right? And I would say the manager is more of a day-to-day strategic planning, long term. Where the agents are equally as important. Agents work more on a higher volume, let's say. So depending on the size of the agency, if you're an agent, a covering agent projects, you could be responsible for, say, 50, 60, 70 clients, and managers typically have less and should have the time to be a little bit more proactive.
Gotcha.
And but working very closely with the agent, So, for example, if there's a project and I have a good relationship with either the casting director or maybe some of the producers, I'll call the agent and say, hey, I know this person well, and let me see if I can get so-and-so in or get them a meeting. Or sometimes they'll have the relationship as well,
Sure.
So it behooves the actor and all of us for the agent and the manager to kind of work closely together. But it's, typically, if let's say it's time to consider bringing on an attorney because the deals are getting more complicated, I will, sort of broach that with the agent as well, but the client. And sometimes it's about, is it time for a publicist, right? Because maybe you have a show coming out or a new film coming out, and it's a big role, and so it's an opportunity to get some press. So should we hire a publicist for that? So it's a little bit more steering of the ship, but it is a big team effort, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the music industry, I think it's kind of the same. The manager is like deals with the artist directly, day to day, like you said, and it's kind of the overarching, like, I don't know, umbrella. He's like on the top of the umbrella, like making sure everyone's working. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Make sure the agent's doing what he needs to do, and he's, like you said, hiring the publicist, the lawyer. Kind of like he's kind of like tour manager.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we'll get if something goes down, hopefully, but something not great is going or whatever, I'll usually get the call first. But
Of course.
But maybe late night or whatever. But that doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's the other manager's key role. Bad news first, and then he has to tell the client.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So does that make sense, John?
100%. Do we work off of percentages? Do we have, like, in other words?
Yeah, 10%. Managers are 10%, agents are 10, and attorneys are 5.
Ooh,
business managers 5 too.
Say it again.
Business managers are 5 as well.
They can be, but they also work. Some of them work on an hourly. It just depends. But so actors, generally speaking, look, I don't handle their finances, but you have to sort of tell them, especially the younger actors, artists sometimes aren't great with finances, and that's not a shot at artists. It's just that they just think differently,
Sure.
And so if they think, oh, I'm going to make this up, $100,000 on a film, well, after taxes and commission, you're going to see about half of that, So it's, if you, or let's say I remember years ago I had a young client and he hardly had any money. I think he made $50,000 on a movie the week, and he called me and he's all excited. He wanted to go buy a BMW. I'm like,
you're like, whoa,
buddy.
Hey now.
I said, talk to your accountant about this, but that, you're 50 equals 25, right? And so it's not time. I don't think it's time to buy the BMW. Maybe next job, So
right.
Again, I don't like. I don't feel comfortable giving financial advice to clients, but the basics, have the basics we'll talk about.
Like, don't buy a BMW with 25 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the, it's the next big job. How about that?
Hold
Or
off on
buy,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
And it
buy
completely
that's
something.
makes
great.
sense. The creative talent that you're dealing with, probably they can do the number side of it if they wanted to, but that's not where their brain is at mostly. They're on the creative side and following their art and passion.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not all of them, but I just think the artist brain, and again, this is not a shot at anybody. It's just the artist brain works a little differently, so they're not so focused on finances.
Sure. Without mentioning names, have we had any
Yeah.
unruly clients where we're like, oh man, we can't dial this guy in. Here's such great opportunities for him or her, but they got their head so far up their own ass type of deal that they can't get out of the way?
Meaning clients or actors that just weren't able to book any jobs.
Yeah, so in other words, like you're dealing with their agent and you as the manager and the agent, like this is a great opportunity for this person, but they're kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is beneath me type of deal. Like, is there kind of
Some,
wrangling?
sometimes, but it's just most actors want to work, right?
Yeah,
So if it's, so if it's something that is works with them creatively, it's a role that they want to do, and they feel like there's people that they want to work with. Um, then it's usually not that. It's just about like, okay, how much are we getting paid? Can we negotiate more, and other deal points? Sometimes it's an obvious pass. It's an obvious no, right? Because
Right.
the script's not good, and the role is not particularly fun, and the money is terrible. So it's, and but that's the conversation that we have, sort of weighing the pros and cons of it all. And um, so I mean, I'm trying to answer your question. It's not like I've been lucky where I haven't had like super difficult clients over the year. In fact, they're wonderful people, but it's more of like a business conversation,
sure.
like, does this make sense to do at this point in your career, or maybe there's other things going on, or maybe the career is going so well that there's multiple options. You have a couple of offers, and it's, I mean, these are first class problems, but like,
Right.
which one do we choose?
Hmm.
And you can't predict this stuff. It's, I mean, art, especially is collaborative art, is really difficult to predict. Meaning, like, you could have all the best elements of a show, right? The amazing producers and writers and actors, and it doesn't mean it's going to turn out great.
Right.
And then sometimes the underdog, and you're like, wow, who would have thought like that little indie film went to, you know Sundance, and then won a festival, and then got picked up by, a studio. And so you just never. I mean, you try to go in with, it starts with the material, right? Starts with
Sure.
with the script, and
Hmm.
you try to go in with, the practical part of it, and then the rest of it um, is sort of in the hands of fate. I have a client of mine I've been working with for a long time. His name is Nick Stahl, and he did an indie. This was years ago, 20 years ago or so. He did an indie film called In the Bedroom, and I don't remember what the budget was, but Todd Field directed it. It was with Marissa Tomei and Tom Wilkinson and Sissy Spacek, and Nick
Nice.
was one of the leads. And it was an indie film, and it started getting some traction at film festivals, and then Miramax bought it, and then it got nominated for like 3 or 4 Academy Awards.
Wow.
And so, but again, you can't. That's especially in the indie film world. That stuff is hard to predict. So
Right.
we always try to frame it with our clients where it's like we want to give them all the information sort of laid out, and then ultimately it's their decision.
Hmm.
I don't like making. I don't want to be the one who makes the decision. I will support what they want to do ultimately. So, but going back to the original question, I know I'm rambling a bit, but it's never gotten to where it's like a big argument over doing something or not.
That's
At
cool.
least for me. I'm sure it
Yeah.
happens, but at least for me, it hasn't.
And how
Dude,
how is Nick doing?
He's
Haven't
great.
haven't seen him for a long time.
He's great. He lives in Austin,
I thought
Texas,
he
and
was in Texas. Okay, that's cool.
yeah,
Nice.
and he's been working quite a bit, indie
Oh,
films,
great.
and
Awesome.
his series, and he did a film for Sony last year, and so yeah, he's doing great. Yeah.
John, did you ever see Man Without a Face with Mel Gibson?
I might have.
Yeah, that was Nick's. Nick was the little kid in that, and
Okay.
was that his first role, Sean?
It was his first big role. Yeah,
Yeah, his first big role.
It was Mel Gibson's first film as a director as well. So,
Yes.
I mean, he started in it, but it was So that was.
So anyway, Nick is the little boy or the young boy in that film.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that was before I was working with him. But I've been working with Nick for over 25 years. It's some of these relationships go back a long ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you still doing Billy Campbell?
Yeah.
Cool.
Billy, he lives in Norway because his wife is Norwegian, and so
Nice.
he lives. I mean, he works, but spends his time. He lives on a farm outside of Oslo. It's a family
That's
farm,
great.
and so yeah, they have 2 kids, and he's enjoying his life.
That's a good way to get out of the rat race.
Yeah, it really is. He really is, and he's like, I'm not coming back. Okay, whatever.
It's like, I don't blame you.
Whatever works for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Whatever works,
Are you still managing David Chokichi?
Yeah. Still
Awesome.
managing David,
David's great.
He was on Baywatch years ago, and there's actually a documentary out right now it's really good. It's about Baywatch, and it's on Hulu.
Yeah. It's on Hulu? Okay, yeah, I think I saw an advertisement for that. It looked cool.
Yeah, it's been getting some good notice, but yeah, David is he's another guy I've been working with since the mid '90s, and he's just a good, just a great dude, and great family, and we've been on some great. It's been a while, but over the years, we went on some work trips together. Monte Carlo one year for CBS had a show. It was called Champions of Magic. I mean, this is 15 years ago, and the royal family in Monaco loved magic, and they hosted this show. It was like a magic event. It was so random, and so David hosted this. It was special for CBS. It was a one-off with Princess Stephanie, and so they flew us to Monte Carlo for 5 days. I mean, it was work, but it's like you're hosting a show in Monte Carlo. It's not that not super labor intensive, but over the years we went to Argentina one year, David and I,
Nice.
and he did a personal appearance where they paid him quite a bit of money, and we flew to Argentina. On the way down there, one of the engines went out in the plane. We were over the Andes Mountains.
Oh, I think I remember you telling me this story. Yes.
Yeah, so you can't land in the Andes, right? So we had to sort of coast. If one engine, you're okay, but we didn't. It was just this loud explosion, and everyone was just sort of like, "What is going on here?" So we landed in Bolivia at this tiny airport, and like the rescue crew was like a guy in like a pickup truck, and there was like a cow next to him. The guy was holding a hose. It's like, what? They're trying their best, but we had to spend the night in Bolivia because they don't exactly have planes lined up there, ready to take the rest of us. It's 300 people on a flight or whatever. And then we went to Argentina, and it was a I forget the guy's name, but it was a hair guy, like a famous hair person in Argentina, and he did this fashion show where David was helping host, and it was an outdoor fashion show for 6,000 people.
Wow.
Crazy.
Okay.
So they just paid him as a person to show up, and they were showing Baywatch highlights, and it was some good. We had some good times. Those are sort of the I guess you can call them fun perks of the job, and the entertainment industry, and you get out of town and get to go to some of these film festivals and trips like that.
I was going to say you could have landed in the Andes, but then you had big cannibals and stuff like the soccer team back in the day.
Yeah, we could have remade that movie, right?
Live. Yeah.
Just been another version of it, but yeah. So good times with David.
And then I told John before you got on that you have Bill Garrett's just got a big role in the Yellowstone. Is it a sequel or a prequel or which one is it?
No, it's a spin-off. They're doing a couple of
Spin-off.
spin-offs
Yes.
for Yellowstone. It's it's a Taylor Sheridan universe, and it came out in Deadline about a month ago. Michelle Pfeiffer is starring in this one, and they're shooting in Montana now. It's called The Madison, and Bo, who I've been working with for years, is playing Michelle's daughter, and they just started shooting about a week ago. So that's going to come out. That'll come out on Paramount Plus, but it's another, it's just another show in the Yellowstone universe. That show is so massive. I hope, we hope this follows suit. But it's been a tough year in the entertainment industry. Between the strike and then in terms of the amount of shows and films are making, the pond really has shrunk. So the lack of a better term, the middle class, lower class actors get squeezed. If you're Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston, you're not going to have any trouble worrying about your next job.
Right.
But for a lot of writers and actors and directors, the pond has shrunk this year anyways. And so, it's been difficult for a lot of people. So my point is that was a great thing that happened with Bo, because she's off to work and potentially like career changing opportunity,
Yeah. How is oh, go sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's the nature of the business too, right? You can just be with actors, because that's specifically who I work with. But you can feel like you're down and out for a while, and then one job changes everything.
Sure.
It's just the nature
blow
of the beast. Up. Yeah.
I was going to say, so the part of the writer's strike was about AI, right? About AI, and I heard some cursory stuff where they're talking about like, taking your face and then being able to put it on anybody's body, and like they're paying people to do that and giving them like a flat amount, and then they can use their image in perpetuity. And I'm sure that's for probably like the lower level people, but
yeah.
How have you run into that yet with like anybody you represent?
Not yet. I think I've heard of some some of the contractual language, and I still don't. It's so new, and it's going to affect the business. It's going to affect everything, right? But AI is so new. I think they're trying to protect themselves, but they don't know exactly what they're protecting themselves from. So it's been a bit. It's gonna look inevitably. I think it's going. They're saying like, well, writers and producers can, for script purposes, could use them as like assistants, right? So if you are stuck on your third act or something, you can bring, but I'm sure there's writers out there who will like that, who will say that will never happen, under my watch. But if you're a producer and you're trying to make a film and you're trying to save money, I just think it's inevitable. In terms of the actors and using their image, I think where it gets tricky too is like after the actor, after the actor passes, like what happens with their image and
yes,
as it relates to their estate and who gets paid. And so it's kind of like I haven't been paying day in and day out attention to it, but it's something that it's sort of getting played out in real time. But of course, any artist is going to be freaked out if they can be replaced by AI. Right. So it may start with action movies or, but I don't know if someone right now is ready to watch a romantic comedy with AI actors, but 20 years from now, it may not matter,
Yeah.
Right. And I've heard it like in the beginning stages of this, they're going to be using it for background actors. So like people in the background, and it's also going to, I think, personally, it's going to affect writers a lot, because once AI gets to the point where you can't tell the difference between a person writing it and AI writing it, I don't know if that'll ever come, but it seems like that's where it's going, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they seem to be the most endangered species in Hollywood is the writers, and that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think technologically, is that a word? That's another level. To replace actors, but I think in terms of the writing, they're sort of first in the line of fire with that in terms of being affected.
Well, because like for AI to come up with like a full script, like fully concept and all that stuff, and put it out like just as good as a regular writer would, might be difficult at this point now. But if you're like a sitcom writer and you have this script kind of fully fleshed out, but you would normally hire like two or three writers to kind of like give me some other jokes for like this section right here. Like it seems like AI could kind of pump out 30 jokes real quick,
Pro- prob-
alternatives.
Probably quickly. Yes.
Yeah.
Probably quickly. And so, yeah, that's going to be, I don't have huge opinions on this. I mean, other than like, it's something that's going to have to be sort of reckoned with. And I think that there could be some situations where it's helpful to the process, or making maybe productions more efficient. And there probably will be new positions available. Sort of like, we'll call it the middleman between the robots.
Right.
But it's going to cause job loss as well. There's jobs that are going to go extinct, but that's also the nature of the universe. I mean, there's, Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore too, right?
That's right. Go figure.
Yeah.
And it might break into a couple different categories too, because like if you're watching something that is completely computer made, like you have to disclose that, you know what I'm saying? So it could take away that human element of it. So you might have some movies that are completely AI and computer made that people want to go see, but there might be nostalgic people who want to see something that was made just by humans with human actors and all that stuff. So it could kind of break into some two different categories.
I think initially, yes. But if, I have a nephew who's 3 years old, and he probably won't care. But, but by the time
right, because he's going to grow up with it. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think people just still like, ultimately they want to watch something that they like, something that is good and entertaining. And if it works, then it works, So,
yeah.
But if you're a studio and you can save $1 million, or whatever, a big chunk of the budget, I can't imagine they're not going to take advantage of that. Like,
right.
You would think at some point there's just going to be a department with AI going, okay, write this kind of movie. And just like spit it out. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's another concept too. Maybe it takes it to where it's no longer in elite people's hands and people with big finance hands. Maybe it brings it down to the everyday person who could kind of put into AI, like, here's a scene that I want and blah, 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 like create.
Yeah. You could have someone who just graduated film school or not and create a script and some AI actors and make a short film or make a full length feature film. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of different ways. So it's cool and exciting, but yeah, they just got to get a grip on it before it gets out of control, and they could just take an Angelina Jolie like looking character and put her in.
Right.
Sounds like her, looks like her, but her name is, whatever, Cholet.
There will be lawyers.
Cholet. There will be lawyers. You're not going to replace the lawyers with AI, I don't think. Well,
there will be lawyers.
AI lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's just I'm just trying to focus because of sort of what I who knows, maybe I'll represent an AI character at some point. I don't know how that works. But,
yeah. Well, there were artists in Japan, and I think they still exist. They're complete projections. So not necessarily AI, but they were projections. Holograms. And they would do fucking sold out arena shows.
Yeah.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Fucking hologram.
Yeah.
So I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Like
Exactly. So I'm just trying to focus on humans right now. I try to be peripherally aware of the AI world and how it's going to affect. But right now, my focus is my human clients and getting them jobs that with scripts that have been written by humans. And so,
there you go.
So that's the focus right now. But I'm I am peripherally aware of the other stuff.
Sean, I'm going to give you an inside track, dude. I don't know if you're aware, but we had when this podcast first started, or in the beginning stages of it, we had the Savo brothers on. Savo brothers, Kevin Savo, and then his brothers. But they're independent filmmakers, and they do some really cool stuff, dude. I think they're in like final production of this Rerouting 2, but you should really check them out, man. The first film that I saw of theirs, Rerouting, it's independently done and so well written, well acted, and well shot. Like, it looks real professional. I think they're on the East Coast, but you know.
So not Sorbo, but Savo.
Savo,
Yeah.
Savo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Savo. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their father is a big Live fan, so
Yeah.
we had
Oh,
him on,
cool.
and then he had the sons on, and Kevin is the director, and all the other brothers kind of like help out with the films and stuff. But
Got
it's
it.
kind of a
Got it.
family affair. Do you have a
Yeah.
link for that, John? You should send the link to Sean.
I will, Sean. So after the show, I'll send it to you so you can check it out. But I mean, just from somebody who's kind of seen, you know, independent things that are done crap and ones that are done good, like this one, I was like, wow, this is very impressive.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe a future.
Works.
Chad,
I'll check it out. I
what do we
appreciate
want?
the tip.
1% of that deal? We want 1% of that deal. The gracious, the gracious podcast.
Gracious 2 cut. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm joking.
Perfect.
But yeah, man, check
Perfect.
them out, dude.
Kickback.
That's right. They should be right up your alley, because it is, man. I mean, nowadays it seems like Hollywood has kind of been in a rut where they're kind of re-releasing and putting out things, and it seems like a lot of cool stuff is coming from the independent features and stuff with less of a budget than sometimes Hollywood has.
Well, it's also content being put on YouTube, right? I mean, all the you know, the younger kids, so to speak, are focused on YouTube these days, and you can make a film. You can make a film or a skit, you know, just something, you know, I mean, that's like the TikTok world too, right? Where you're making these 30-second clips or what have you. But I think that's part of the problem with like some of the like network television and even some of the cable stuff and the streamers, where, you know, Netflix isn't going anywhere and Amazon isn't going anywhere, but you have these folks who these younger kids who are just, you know, I have friends who have kids, and they're like, they don't watch television, they watch YouTube,
right?
You know?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's all I basically watch now. Netflix, YouTube.
I mean,
like
there's
Max or something, Amazon.
I guess there's, and I don't watch a ton of YouTube. I try to keep up on the shows and film stuff. There's like I think a buddy of mine said my kid, he watches people playing video games. So not playing the video game, but they're watching someone play a video game.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And it's a, you know, that's a different demographic, that's a different world, and so you have to sort of pay attention to that too, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
my son did that for a while, but now he just plays. He used to just watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos of people playing games, and now he just plays. Like, okay. He probably still watches some, but, you know, he's 14 now.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, Sean, my mom just texted me. She said, "Is that Sean Fay?" I say, "Yep." She says, "Hi, tell him hi." So,
well, you tell
hello
her
from Mama Lana.
Hello. I haven't seen her in a long time. I hope she's doing great.
She's watching. She tunes in every week to keep.
Oh, cool.
She's awesome. Very loyal.
Awesome. Make sure you're not cussing.
Exactly. She does lifeguard us sometimes and be like, guys, you're getting a little too crazy here. So she lets us know, which is good.
I like it. I like it. We need that. That's audience feedback, you know.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you guys touched on something kind of weird and funny to me. Like, I talked to a bunch of my friends' kids and nieces and nephews and stuff like that. They will, a lot of times before playing a video game, they'll go on and watch people play the video game so they know how to get through levels and do all this stuff. I'm like,
that makes sense, I guess.
I guess, but I'm like, that takes away the fun of a video game. Like, the best thing about when we got Nintendo back in the day and playing Super Mario was like going through exploring, trying to figure out what to do. If you knew
to fucking solve it.
You might as well watch a movie then. And if you know where you're going and getting to the end result, like, you know, it just seems crazy to me.
Well, same, but I've never been a video game person, even when I was a kid. So I'm just like I'm the wrong person to talk to about that.
Sure.
Nothing against it. Like, people love their video games, but like, I was just never into it. So
back in the day,
I would bring PlayStation on the road with me because I'd sit in my hotel room during days just playing shit.
Oh yeah, get some downtime like that for sure.
Back in the day, video games were a life suck, but now it's like you could actually make a living from them, and like there's a whole new world with them. So it's like, you know, people, I guess, from around our generation could kind of be like, take it or leave it, because there was no future in it, you know,
Yeah.
growing up to do it. But now there's crazy futures in it. It's insane.
Well,
I
then
have a
every
buddy
now
here
and
in
then,
Orange County. Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I said I have a buddy here in Orange County who runs a company that they do video game tournaments in like arenas.
Oh,
Like
sure.
people
Yeah.
get in an arena and watch people play video games, like it's a
Yeah.
tournament on the big screens and shit. It's like
Yeah.
what?
And, and then every now
Crazy.
and then you'll hear a story coming out of like, like Japan or South Korea, where a kid is. I think that's where I saw it, and they're like a kid stayed up for 4 days straight playing video
Right.
games,
Yeah.
and they died. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Didn't eat and no sleep and whatever, and maybe there was something else going on, but it's I guess I think my point, there's probably an addiction element. I guess, I mean, there's addiction element in a lot of the stuff, right?
Oh,
Social
for
media,
sure.
but
Yeah.
and look, if people are into video games, that's awesome. It's just never really been my thing. It's football season for me right now, so
That's
it's
right.
just
Not worried about
Yeah.
that.
I consume the NFL. It's like Thursday night, Sunday. There was a game a couple Friday nights ago. There's Monday night football. And then there's college. It's that's more of my addiction.
Plenty to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, by the way, you didn't mention that you played football for UConn.
Well, yeah, and
He was the
a
kicker.
caveat, I was the punter at UConn.
Punter, thank you.
Back in the day, yeah. So, helped pay for my education, kicking a football, which I'll take it. I'll take it again. So
You still got that fucking leg stroke, dude? Where you?
I'm not as flexible as I used to be. But I'm actually scared to like go kick a ball full blast,
Right.
like for fear of like ripping a hamstring or
I was gonna say rip a hammy.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't. It wouldn't be worth it, But whatever. Yeah, that was my time.
Oh, damn.
I loved UConn, by the way.
Lana's getting feisty over here. She just said, "What year was that?"
Oh, that's all right. That was 89
That's right.
and 90. I transferred from a junior college. I went to a junior college out here in Huntington Beach from Connecticut, and then I transferred to UConn. So, long time ago. We had helmets, not leather helmets, but helmets then. But it definitely was a long time ago. Yeah.
So from junior college to UConn, man, that's from junior college to UConn, that's a hike. It's got to be a different world.
Yeah, it's I was a terrible high school student, and the junior colleges out here, you just apply and you get in. There's no like admissions, at least there wasn't back then. And they have really good football programs out here. A lot of guys end up going to getting scholarships. And so my aunt and uncle live in Huntington Beach, and they invited me to like go to stay with them, go to school, get my grades up, and I played 2 years at Golden West Junior College in Huntington Beach.
Golden West.
Shout out.
The Rustlers, and then I transferred to UConn because my grades were good enough to get in, and I got a walk-on scholarship there. So
nice.
It worked out. It wasn't, in retrospect, I should have studied harder in high school, but whatever, it got figured out.
Would you have had as much fun though? You got to take the good with the bad, dude.
Yeah. I appreciated UConn a lot more because in junior college there wasn't there was a campus, but it wasn't like the college life. I was living with my aunt and uncle, right? Getting my grades together. I mean, still enjoying the city and had good friends and stuff, but when I got to a campus, that's what I just I appreciated so much more. Just living on a campus and living a little bit more independently, and then being on the team too. There was a culture there too. That's like those are your your friends for life. It's like a military culture in a way, right? Where like I had to run and lift and do all the stuff like everybody else. I just didn't have to tackle anybody,
Right.
And got
crushed all the time.
Because back then you didn't know all the CTE problems that they're coming out with now. Like you don't realize what a sport that is. Like if you're playing football from, let's just say 10 years old, college, man, you've taken a lot of hits, probably unnecessary ones. And you know.
Yeah, and it's weird how it affects some people, some dudes, and others it doesn't. Where it's like
Right.
they're fine and what have you. It's just I don't know. I think they're really trying. They're trying to. I mean, football is, in the U.S. anyways, is king, right?
Yep.
So what they don't want are, it starts at the youth level, really, and so they want. So I think they've been trying to take measures to help protect players better.
As they should.
Yeah, but it's still a violent sport, but they're some of the hits are now illegal, and like
Right.
trying to tackle a guy head first and that type of thing. And I think it's smart. They're trying to protect the game. It's like, I mean, you're going to have parents, and I know plenty of parents who are like, my kid's playing lacrosse. They're not going to play football, and so
Right.
But yeah, the CTE thing is kind of crazy. But luckily for me, kicking a football, I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. I have my own brain issues, but it has nothing to do with
Don't we all?
nothing to do with CTE.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't we all?
Well,
So
luckily that a good position. Sorry, Chad.
I was gonna say, so we met back in what, like 94, 95 in LA?
I think it was closer to like 90. I want to say like 97, but you could be right.
Oh, it was
but
after throwing copper?
It was after throwing copper. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, I think, before Secret Samadhi, but we had but you and Michelle, your wife at the time, used to come to LA, right? And you had
Right,
and this girl that I was dating was friends with Michelle and her friend Samantha, and so Chad and I would just hang in LA, right? And
Yep.
then I mean, I knew your music peripherally, but then I really got introduced to it, and then I started like hanging out with these guys and going to shows and festivals, and man, I really got spoiled in that world, dude. It's still like when I go to a concert, I'm like, oh man, where's the parking? I got to park. Like,
Right.
I used to jump on their bus and go, if they're in LA, they're staying at the Sunset Marquee. I go meet them at the hotel and just take the bus to the venue, and that's the spoiled rock and roll life, and then going to a show as a civilian sometimes is it's like, wait, really? Oh man, I gotta wait in
I don't
line
like
for
doing
this.
I gotta really love the band to go to the show as a civilian, so
Yeah, exactly.
hence I don't go to many. But yeah, you went to
Yeah.
Woodstock with us, 99, and then you did the Bet and Freedom concert with us.
I just started going on tour with these guys. I was like a groupie. I just wasn't sleeping with these guys, I just I was like just sort of a tag along, but saw some great, Woodstock 99. We drove in the bus from New York City to the show, and then of course I'm not standing out in that crowd, right? That everyone's sunburned and drunk and crazy, and so I stood on stage and watched these guys crush it. As far as you could see, there was I mean, there was probably 300,000-400,000 people at this thing. I think that was what the attendance was, whatever. But as far as you could see, there was people, and so these guys. I think Korn was one of the headliners, and Rage Against the Machine played that night as well. And
Yeah, Bush went on last that night.
They did.
And I only know that because I watched the documentary about how fucking crazy everything that went down after we left. That was on the Friday we played.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it, but Bush went on last that night.
Oh, I didn't know that. But I saw DMX went on after you guys, and he was incredible. He was, I think he was the only rapper at this rock and roll festival, and he just crushed it. But I just got to watch these shows from side stage too, and what was it, the Tibetan Freedom concert?
Yep. DC.
I'm trying to remember what year that was, but that was
I think that was 99 or 2000, somewhere in there. Maybe no,
2000.
Could have been 98 because I was still with Michelle then, so I think it was 98.
Yeah.
98. And you guys played on that, I think it was Saturday. Yeah. And again, went with you, drove. I think I was with you guys in New York, and then drove down, to the show. And that was another, like, Radiohead played, and there's some amazing. I think when you guys are playing, and I don't know if I have this right, but there was I think you guys had played the song "Lightning Crashes," and some girl in the stands got struck by lightning. You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on her phone or something, and it like
Yeah. She was touching a railing and
yeah,
got electrified by
like
lightning.
got like she was okay, I guess. You know, had to go to
Yeah.
the hospital, but I guess she was okay. But that was like sort of
wow.
an odd an odd
Yeah. Odd
story
timing.
Did you know
that
at
happened.
the time that she got struck by lightning? Like, did you know that while you guys were on stage, or you found this out after the fact?
I
We,
think it was after, right?
we found out after, and I think she was from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which was
Wow.
odd as well.
Oh
So,
wow.
and I think I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I think we sent her something in her hotel room or in her hospital room and made sure she was
Maybe
okay.
maybe she
Yeah.
faked it.
Yeah.
I'm
There you
just
go.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If she's listening, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Young lady.
Sorry,
And
young
those are
lady.
You should have sent her a pair of your
But,
underwear, Chad.
but
She would have
no,
loved
so one of the big perks of knowing Sean was when we went to Hartford, his mom would bring us brownies, homemade, to the show.
it. Now,
well,
We were
well,
digging them.
she doesn't make them as much anymore,
Yeah.
because she's, she lives solo. But she did make these brownies that were like incredible. We talking about my brother Shannon.
We could talk about Shannon.
yeah, let's
Do you,
go.
do you remember when he tried to bring him in?
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, you got him taken, right, and thrown away.
My brother Shannon, God bless him, and he went to go see these. I wasn't with him, but he went to go see these guys in Boston, and
Yeah.
Chad got him tickets, and he brought the brownies to the stadium. I think it was Foxborough, and the guy, just walking in with brownies into the guy, and the security guard is like, "What is that?" He's like, "These are brownies." And he's like, "You can't bring him in." He's like, "But they're brownies for the drummer, Chad." And the guy goes, "I don't give a shit." Get rid of him. So I think he had to bring him back to the car. Poor guy. He was like so excited because by the way, it sounds silly, but these were world-class brownies. So it was
They were. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, but my family got involved too. My parents would come to the shows when these guys played in Hartford. It was a big, they watched the Woodstock '99 on television. It was almost like a team, they were rooting for, except it was a band live, So it had some great times. I'm just trying to remember some of the other like the Weenie Roast down in Orange County.
Yeah.
You guys played that. That was another really
Was
fun
that the
festival.
one with Metallica and Chili Peppers?
oh,
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was K-Rock, Weenie Roast,
Yes.
and they didn't even play Metallica on K-Rock at the time. And the festival, my understanding was that the bands that played there were the ones that got the most votes.
Right.
As favorite bands or whatever. So that was sort of the order of it. But then Metallica was like the overall winner of the voting, but they didn't even play Metallica on K-Rock.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, we better have them headline. And so they end up headlining the K-Rock Weenie Roast. I think I have this story right, but they end up headlining it, and I think they probably play Metallica on K-Rock now. Maybe, I don't know.
I was gonna say,
maybe.
why the fuck wouldn't they be playing Metallica on K-Rock? It seems.
I know.
Well,
I
because
know.
back in the '90s, that was K-Rock and even 2000s, K-Rock was just all alternative rock. It wasn't heavy metal, and
Oh,
it was very
Right.
segmented. So
Yeah, it was. What was that band? Limp Bizkit. Like played at that show. Remember Limp Bizkit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they
Um,
went out on tour. Loserville, I think they did. With Corey Feldman was on the bill. Limp Bizkit.
Hey, are
Corey-
they still doing that? Because I keep seeing footage of Corey Feldman on that stage, like playing stuff. And
Yes. Yo, so Chad, so the gentleman who got us Pippi Longstocking on here, he is also Corey Feldman's agent or manager. I'm not sure which one.
really,
Yeah.
oh,
So
cool.
he was on that tour with them. So he's got some crazy stories about it. But
Can you get Corey on here?
I'm gonna work.
I'd
I'm
love to
working
talk
on
to
that.
him.
Me too. I I don't want to say my feelings about Corey Feldman because we're trying to get him as a guest, but he's a cool, wacky individual, man. That guy's seen it all, been through it all.
Well, I think he was through got been through the ringer as far as like being a child actor,
Yeah,
according
Sure.
to him,
Sure.
which is it's can be a dangerous world out there for kids.
Yes.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
made some crazy accusations against Charlie Sheen, saying, I don't know if you guys heard this. He said that Charlie Sheen raped Corey Haim. You guys remember Corey Haim?
Mm-hmm. The other Corey.
He was like the
Wow.
other Corey. Yeah. And this was like
That's
some bombshell thing that Feldman put out a couple of years ago, but it's gone silent since. But I remember that coming out. I'm like, I've never heard of Charlie Sheen being gay for one, but then, molesting
yeah.
kids.
Crazy.
I hadn't heard that, but there is a there is an underbelly to the industry.
Yes, there
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with Diddy here. He's starting to pull in a lot of big names are getting pulled into this thing. Should
A
be
lot of big
interesting.
names getting pulled in. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm no law expert, but I read most of the 14-page grand jury, and I don't think he's getting out of jail anytime soon.
No, it's not good.
Oh.
It's not good.
It
Yeah.
also seems that Oprah hangs out with a lot of seedy people. It seems like everybody who has a scandal, Oprah's buddy with. So I gotta look into
It's
that.
pretty fucking wild. She has a picture with everybody.
There's a picture with everybody. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who like Chad just said, like who gets pulled out of this thing too. And there's got to be, I'm sure there's video evidence as well, right? From some of these parties. So yeah.
Crazy.
I was, I never went to any of these parties. I mean, I went to some fun parties, but like I was never I never got, if there was after hours at these places where crazy stuff happened, I was not invited. So
Like,
I
know.
I was the first one there, and I'd stay to a reasonable time, and then I would leave. But there's some,
that sounds like the age-old story that I hear from everybody who works at a strip club but doesn't actually strip at the strip club. Everybody's like, "Oh, I work at but I don't strip there. I'm the bartender." I'm like, "No,
the bartender. Yeah, I'm the manager.
Yeah,
the hostess.
Yeah.
So Sean, we talked yesterday, a little pre-call, and you started telling me a story about, was it after the Tibetan Freedom concert where you hung out with Ed and then we went to Michael Stipe?
Michael Stipe had a party because you guys.
I didn't know this story. Go ahead, tell it, please.
Well, from what I remember too, Michael's like a huge live fan, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And so a lot of the guys, after you guys played on that Saturday in DC, I mean, you're pretty close to York, right? Or ish. So anyways, you guys had gone, but I went with Ed and Aaron to Michael Stipe's party, and it was that Saturday night. And then Michael Stipe came over and told us that we're all going to, Radiohead was playing like a surprise show at this, what's the club in DC? The
930.
The 930. I was getting the numbers wrong, but the 930 club, and they played this incredible show there. And that was the peak of Radiohead. I mean, I love that band anyways. And then we ran into Brad Pitt, who I guess Ed knew a little bit, and started talking about Fight Club, which Ed eventually booked a role in Fight Club, and Brad not at that point, but Brad had already he was already attached to the film. So and Ed had gone in for to read a couple times for Fincher, and so the three of us were before Radiohead went on, we're talking about Fight Club and the book and the script, and it was a really cool conversation. And then,
cool.
And then I don't know when it was. A couple weeks later, Ed got the offer to play. It was a small role, but it was a really cool thing. So yeah, it just it went from Tibetan Freedom concert to a Michael Stipe party to a secret Radiohead show, a surprise show, and talking to Mr. Pitt. So some good times with these guys for sure.
That's a good day and night. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good day and night. I definitely, like I said, I was definitely spoiled over the years, and met some other, like I met Chris Daughtry through you guys. I don't know if you still talk to him, but he was always like a super nice guy, and met Tom Morello through you guys, and ended up going to a few Rage Against the Machine shows from that introduction, and
Michelle and I went to his house a couple of times. I forget what was his wife's name, but
Steve.
We hung out at his house a couple of times. Tom, super nice guy.
Nice guy. Really
And
nice
D,
guy.
her name's D. Is that what you said?
D. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. D. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chad, it's hysterical that all your buddies and friends that you were, from back in the day, like have these stories and like you weren't even a part of them. Like you got them in and part of this stuff.
Chad went fishing. He's like, I'm going fishing, man. I'm like, really?
But
I'm going to
Michael fishing or like
Michael Stipe's party.
Fucking tired. Like I don't care.
Yeah, I love it, man. He don't give a shit.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
Michael Stipe, who, man? I got shit to do, man. I got Mrs. Faye's brownies to eat.
I was hanging out with Stipe one time. Ed and I went to this restaurant, and Michael was there. And I don't know if we went there specifically to see him, but it was Ed and I and my ex Michelle, and we went to see Michael, and we're hanging out at a bar, just talking to him. And I took this rose. There's a long stem rose in a vase, and I put it between my ex-wife's boobies. And Michael's like, nice.
Did he put it between yours, Chad?
It's like I'm 26, whatever.
Right. Right.
I got my hot wife here, whatever.
That's right. No, it was definitely some good times. I also have great memories of you guys would usually, when you came into town, you'd usually stay at the Sunset Marquee.
Oh yeah.
And there was a bar there. It was called the Whiskey Bar, and it was a tiny dark bar that was hard to get into because it was so small, and it was sort of actually a really popular place. But a lot of musicians would stay there, and we'd go there and hang there. Like a lot of fun nights there. I met the dudes from ZZ Top. I mean, it's not whatever. But like
Billy Gibbons was always there. He was always fucking there.
Always there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page, I met quickly one night.
He's always there. Yep.
That's where I met Adam. I mean, you guys toured with Counting Crows, but that's where I met.
Yep.
I was with Ed one night. We met Adam Duras. It was always just a fun music hang. Billy Bob Thornton. That was his. I mean.
Oh, Billy Bob was there.
Billy Bob.
That was there too.
That was his hotel also that he would stay at. So that was one of my favorite all time bars in Los Angeles. It's not. I mean, it's just a regular bar now. They still have some rock and roll photos up and some whatever. But it was.
It's not like it was.
Yeah, it's not like it was. It was some fun times for sure.
Well, the good thing is that Wendell, the doorman, was from Philly, and he was a big Live fan. So
yeah, that's right.
He's since passed away, but he was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was a great dude.
Wendell?
Huh?
I said, rest in peace, Wendell.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Wendell. Yeah, he was a good dude.
So really the gracious, you know this, John, the Gracious Few song, "Crying Time" is about Wendell.
Yes.
The working title was Wendell's Song for a while.
Yeah, man. I found that out on the show. Then Bill gave us a video where it had all Wendell still shots. And him.
Bill helped make. Bill made that video.
Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah,
good
very cool.
Memoriam piece. Sean, this sounds like the time it was Billy Bob was wearing a vial of Angelina Jolie's blood around his neck.
Could have been.
I think it was after that, but I didn't see any vial. I just remember he was a cool dude.
Super nice.
I was there with a friend. I don't even remember who the friend was, but it was kind of empty at that point, and he came over and he knew all the waitresses there, and he was like, and so he brought our drinks over, like playing waiter for a couple minutes, and brought our drinks over, and we chatted with him, and we talked about Sling Blade, which is, if you haven't seen that film, that's the film that launched him.
Mm-hmm.
And with Dwight Yoakam, the film's incredible. If you haven't seen Sling Blade, run, don't walk. It's a great film.
It's been a while. I'll need to rewatch it. Were you there when Vince Vaughn and Sean Williams, our bass tech, got into it? Were you there for that?
No.
That's fucking great. But you remember Vince Vaughn would come in, and he was like any character in all of his movies. He'd be like, "Can't outfox the foxes," and you fucking he just have these little sayings. He just say all night, and you're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Yeah. I knew him back in the day too. Some of these folks, you know them, and then they move, or he's a big star now. But he was always a nice, fun dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a character, dude. Yeah,
that's why it was funny that him and Sean got into it. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so Sean Williams blonde hair kid. He kind of looked like Brad Pitt from like the River movie, River Run Through It.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was our bass tech forever. And so he would kind of, and this is around the time when Patrick was drinking a lot too, so he would be kind of Patrick's keeper, if you will, or just help him.
Yeah.
And but there was a point where we're all in the whiskey bar, and I look up at the bar and I see Vince Vaughn's 6'5" and Sean's like 6'2", 6'3" maybe. So, Vince Vaughn's taller than him, but they're talking to each other. You can tell they're talking to each other. And so I'm like, what the fuck is this conversation about? Oh, so I kind of got closer, and so I was listening. So Vince Vaughn is like just going on about something, he's drunk, and you can see like the spittle flying out of his mouth,
Yeah.
and Sean's like close to him, and it like hits him in the face, and he's like, "Hey man, just chill out with the spit, man." He was like, "Oh, I'm
Spitting on it.
sorry, dude, I'm sorry," and so he starts talking again, and Sean's like, "Hey, seriously, man, stop with the spitting." He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." And then starts talking again. And the third time, Sean's like, "Hey, motherfucker, I'm telling you,
Oh shit.
stop with the spitting." And Vince looks at him. He's like, "Or what are you gonna do about it?" And Sean just gets right in his face. He's like, "I will fuck you up."
Oh shit.
Wow. Wow.
And Vince is
Wow.
like, Vince is 6'5". He's pretty intimidating as far as his
Yeah.
height, and he's
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
sure.
big fucking loud, big loud guy. And so I don't think anybody ever really challenges him. So he's like
Right.
stepped back and he's like looked like bewildered.
Deer in
And he's like,
headlights.
and all of a sudden he goes, "This guy's cool. This motherfucker's cool. Buy some drinks."
Wow.
He buys drinks for the bar.
Wow. That's a
And
great pivot, by the way. That's a
yeah, and
great
then
pivot.
Sean is just still kind of worked up, but also like, what the fuck just happened? So he started, and Sean had no idea who he was. Sean's from
Yeah.
York, didn't know who Vince Vaughn was. We're
Oh
sitting there
wow.
watching this, and that was so it was just hilarious for us to watch because we're like Vince Vaughn and Sean, the York boys, talking to him, and now Sean just told me he's gonna fuck him up. We're like, oh, this is great.
I
It's
love
great.
it though.
It's good stuff. I think
Anyway,
I think I think Chad Taylor got in some fisticuffs there too one night.
we got in a
Chad Taylor.
thing. Yeah,
And then
we
there
were
was
there
a
with.
and then also too in a separate time. I think there was like a Marilyn Manson squabble you guys had. Like
Oh
you're on
yeah,
the
that's
road, but then it was it I think kind of continued to the whiskey bar. I can't remember
yeah.
exactly.
Well, yeah, we had toured with them. There was a bunch of shit that went down with that, and then but the final version of the whole story was that we were at Whiskey Bar. It was me, Tom, Ed, Tom, Rob, and who else was there? And you introduced us to Tom Rob, didn't you?
I did. Yep.
Okay. We'll tell
Yep.
that story. I'm trying to get Tom on. He's just super busy. I mean, dude, Tom is running like
I
20,
know.
20 tours right now with his security people.
I
He's
know.
he's killing it.
I
It's freaking
know.
awesome.
He's doing great.
But
Yeah, let's
so
get busy.
we were there, me, Ed, and Tom, and it could have been Chad or Patrick were there as well, but we went outside. I wanted to go out and smoke, and Tom and I were just drinking, so we were just out there hanging out with him. And and fucking Marilyn Manson walked in with like Twiggy, the bass player, and a bunch of other people like an entourage. And so we were kind of on one side of the bar, and they were on the other side. And so we walk outside, and then Twiggy decides after all this shit went down on tour, which is a story I can tell at a later time because it's funny in itself. But he comes
Yes.
outside and he's like he's all tough. He's like, fuck you motherfuckers. Like, because we had this whole diatribe going on tour. He's like, fuck you guys. And Ed's like standing here and Twiggy's standing here and Tom and I are on either side of them. And at one point, Twiggy's like, I'll cut your throat to Ed. And Ed like bends
But
down. Ed like bends down in front of him and takes his hand, Twiggy's hand, like starts sawing it across the back of his own neck, like, go ahead, motherfucker. And Tom and I are both in Twiggy's face going,
do it, do it, do
and,
it.
and
That's
Tom
so
is like
funny.
6'3", 245. He's a big fucking guy. And Twiggy's just like, uh-oh. And then he just kind
No.
of slinks away. And so he goes back inside and we walk back inside and Marilyn Manson shouts something over to Ed like fuck you or whatever. And
Yeah.
right on cue, the fucking lights in the place come on because it's like 2 a.m. And Ed jumps up on the couch and he's like, "You're the darkness and I'm the fucking light. Fuck you, motherfucker." He's going on this whole diatribe. Security takes them out. I don't know how we got to stay. And
I
then the
love it.
next night we're back there and fucking James Hetfield and was it Kurt Hammond walk in from Metallica And they're like, and they see Ed in the lobby. They're like, dude, we heard about last night. That's fucking awesome. Because they
Yeah.
hate Marilyn Manson. Because they toured with him and they toured with
Yeah.
them and they just hated each other. So James Hetfield was like, that's fucking awesome, dude. Fuck that guy.
That's great.
Funny story.
That's great. There was some good. Yeah, and Tom Robb was a guy who wanted to underside too. He's got a heart of gold. He's a big boy with a shaved head and tats, and I mean, he looks like he's in a biker gang, but he's so just on sight alone, you're like, I'm not going to go mess around.
Right.
And then he's highly trained to boot.
Highly trained, and he's also smart and doesn't, like he's kind of the perfect security type situation, So.
Yeah, he took a whole Muay Thai knife fighting course.
Oh shit.
And the final test was with real knives.
Jesus.
Like the instructor was going at him fucking like trying to kill him. And he had to defend. I was like, that's fucking crazy. So anyway, he's a badass.
Seems like Twiggy would be a good keyboard warrior. A person who likes to say things and then like no consequences coming.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson has this whole like they're evil and they're scary, and it's like, dude, come on, Brian, just take it easy.
Come on, Brian. Yeah, take it easy, Brian. That's really funny. Guys, I actually have to exit though. Is that okay?
It's all good, man. Sorry.
No. I have a meeting coming up, but it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys, and good time, good stories, man. Those are awesome times with the band live.
Fuck yeah.
Very, very, very cool. And like I told you, I really got spoiled, but whatever. Now
Sean, do you want to direct any would-be clients to where they could find you or anything like that? Do you put out your info in case people want to get in touch with you? If so, now's the time to let people know. If not, all well as well.
No, I mean, no, that's okay. And I mean that respectfully. It's all right.
Yeah,
all right.
I get it. I completely get it.
But I'm gonna check out your buddy's film that you told me about, and so I may reach back to you guys. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Sounds good. Sean, hey, man, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it, and it's good to see you. And we need to get together in person soon.
Absolutely, buddy. All right, guys. John, nice to meet you. You guys take care. Bye.
Take care, Sean. See you, bud.
Sean Fay, ladies and gentlemen. Fun dude. He's got some cool ass stories, dude.
Yeah, I think we barely scratched the surface, but that's all right.
Barely. I was just gonna say, and
you can have him back on sometime.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the show is we kind of get to meet a lot of people on this show, but like a lot of times it's the first time that the audience is getting to hear about stuff, and we're just kind of breaking the conversation. So it's all stuff that leads into future appearances and future stuff like that. So we just introduce you guys to him, get you excited, and then we'll bring him back. But how funny is that? A lot of your friends, like Eric being one, they have all these stories mixing around with, kind of rock and roll legends, royalty, and Hollywood people, and you're just kind of off doing your thing, not even paying mind to it.
I mean, I would invite them out, and Eric and Sean were at the same HFS festival, or the Tibetan Freedom Concert, excuse me. So they were at the same that same venue because Eric was telling stories about that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd bring my friends out and hang out with them, and then I have to do the band stuff, and so and then after a show, even back then when I was younger, I would just be tired, and I'm fucking bed. Like, I'm not one that like really gives a fuck what's going on.
Yeah. Well, thank God.
After the show and stuff, like, oh, great, you're going out with Michael Stipe. Like, I've hung out with Michael Stipe. He's a fucking great guy, and I loved hanging out with him because he's a band that we were heavily influenced by. But
sure,
I don't know. Sometimes I just be like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah. No, it's key, dude. I mean, it's real. People are people. Yeah, they've done a lot of cool shit, but they're really just they both, they all shit, they all piss, they all fart. Just breathing the same air we breathe. It is cool, but yeah, I totally get it. Mr. Bobby, who feels left out sometimes here, Chad, why don't you come on video and talk?
Hey, Bobby's coming on. Here we go.
What's up? Yeah,
put your tallywhacker away.
Not doing a Jeffrey Tubin online.
Man.
Camera's coming on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm about to bring my camera on.
Sweet. He's warning us.
I'm in my first video appearance.
There he is.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah. It's got the Gucky hat on and everything.
Gucky, I love it.
Cookie, right?
Yes,
I have a couple of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about this purge that Trump was talking about.
First thing, I got a question. Is that a Banksy art piece to the left in the background is that I see on
Yeah,
the
it's his right. Yeah.
it's
his
the one
right, my left, whatever? How dare you, Chad?
I think it
Sorry.
was shredded during the auction.
I don't know my ups and downs here. Ups
Uh,
and,
One of the
oh,
auctions, it was actually shredded. Did
ah.
you know that?
No. What's
He had it in a case, and when the auction ended, the painting automatically shredded. It was in the
Oh
case,
wow,
shredded the.
Oh, right. He did that on purpose, right?
Yeah.
cool.
Gotta love him.
Yeah, Banksy's the man. Yeah, I have a lot of things to share. I want to start with this purge thing with Trump. So let me get to my other
Are you
desktop.
talking the Elon Musk thing where they want to get rid of all the bureaucracy and fire a bunch of people?
Who wants to get rid of all the criminals?
Well, that too, yeah. Got it.
Got it. Get it good.
Because Elon and Vivek have agreed that at least 75% of the staff of all the bureaucrats in DC need to fucking go. And I
Gee,
agree.
you think? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you seeing my other screen?
Yes.
Yep. We see the YouTube purge. Yep.
All right, I'm about to play. So if you want to listen, check this out. This is crazy.
This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. If this feels like it's something out of a movie, well, it is something out of a movie. And everything you see going on in politics is directly out of a movie as well, because it's all fake. And the people pretending to run for president or run for senator or run for governor are all pre-selected, and they're all playing roles on television. And remember, none of this stuff would be going on, this civil unrest, if they didn't pick the perfect characters and put the perfect characters in place. One incompetent Joe Biden and one over-the-top, aggressive, bully-like character that Donald Trump plays. And of course, anybody out there who is caught up in the psyop will defend Donald Trump to the end and not realize that their vote doesn't actually count. And these actors that are put in place are to keep the civilians under control. Because if they didn't have somebody in place, all the stuff the government has been doing, the civilians would not put up with. The civilians would have risen up against it. But Donald Trump keeps the civilians under check. And listen to this. Trump floated a plan to end crime, which is basically the purge. And if you don't know the plot for the purge, I'll tell you in a few minutes. But Donald Trump gave a speech, and trending all over America was the purge for the last 24 hours, because Donald Trump was literally calling on a police state. He was calling on a totalitarian, state-controlled police force that would keep.
So Bobby, I'm just stopping right there because I had so we only had audio, no video.
Huh?
So it was just a still picture playing, but no no moving parts.
Yeah,
But so just explain what's going on there with to me, Bobby.
all right, so he's saying that he wants to give the police power to do whatever they want and pretty much have 24 hours where the police could just, because they have people in San Francisco just running in stores legally, they're legally shoplifting. They're just.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, that's you
taking
can
what-
steal up to $950 per store
it's
all day long. In
So-
California, it's all of California, not just San Francisco, but
Sorry about the video. I don't know why it wasn't playing.
No, it happens. So because I think you share different windows and stuff like that. So you could share like your screen, you could share a window, you could share a program. So again, I kind of lost a little bit. Is Trump calling for that, where he's going to give police 24 hours to do whatever they want?
Well, yeah, he was saying that. Yeah, he was saying yeah. If you want, I'll go a little further into it where he's talking. Let me go into it a little further where he's talking.
Sure.
One rough hour, and I mean real rough.
Are you
The word
here?
will get out, and it will
We can-
end.
but no,
Is that sharing?
no.
Hold
Is
on.
no, it's
it
not true.
normal?
Hold on,
Breast
hold on.
cancer is also estrogen driven
Hold on,
and
hold
now
on.
strikes 1 in 8 women. we are mass poisoning all of our children.
This is true.
Hold on. What is this? This is not what I'm supposed to. Yeah, it is true. It's very true. Why is this playing now? Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
Oh, so this is breaking news. Iranian regime launches hundreds of missiles towards Holy Land.
They
All
did
right.
that.
Yeah,
You know, it'll end immediately.
is it sharing?
To that. Yeah, Sharon.
Yes.
We're getting right into that, Chad. Right
Like-
after the
Or somebody running for office say something like that before. But that's
the
the
screen is
state
sharing,
of
right?
affairs we live in now. These actors
Yes.
are literally playing roles. They sound like
Another
professional
video is playing,
wrestlers. They're
too.
calling on violence. Then you have the other side who is allowing violence to occur, right? All the stuff we saw with the BLM and the government turning a blind eye, even though Trump was the president during the majority of those
Let's see what else Trump was saying. Hold on. Let me get back.
side.
I'm gonna get back to what
I
Trump.
swear, audience, we will have Bobby have these clips.
Let them rob.
Launch them at some point.
Just go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have the whole. It's a chain of events that's so bad.
He's absolutely right. though.
One
He's right
rough
about it.
hour, and I mean real rough.
Yeah.
The word will get
Oh,
out,
real
and it
rough.
will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately.
So I mean, that's a scene out of a movie.
It really is. It's a scene out. It's a scene out of election year. You know, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
this,
this is a fucking big deal here. No one's talking about.
So, Chad, before because Bobby started sharing that video, and he said so the Iran has launched missiles towards Israel.
Yes, hundreds. Yes.
Hundreds. Okay.
I have that too. I was gonna pull that up.
Yeah, man. And the White House had said that this attack was imminent, and they weren't putting Iran in their place. Like, shouldn't have Joe Biden have like done a press conference? Like, motherfuckers, if you do this,
He doesn't do a press conference for shit. He doesn't do anything. He's feckless and
Breaking news.
doing nothing.
probably before you hit play on that. Yeah, but it's just like so. If we knew this was going to happen, there should have been strong language coming out of the White House, like motherfuckers, if you do this, you know,
They
we're-
can't. Then half their base is pissed off because they don't want to free Palestine, so they can't fucking come out and make any statements about it.
crazy, man.
Because they care about terrorist supporters.
Crazy.
You know, it's crazy how they infiltrated the pagers. That's one thing that because there
That
was
shit's wild.
laptops exploding, also solar panels. I don't know if it was maybe an EMP attack. It could have been an EMP pulse attack. I don't know if you ever watched Mr. Robot, but in the show Mr. Robot, he hacked into a business company, and he set their battery servers, the firmware to make the batteries overheat, and the
Oh
whole
wow.
the building exploded.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, if there's big enough batteries in there, I'm sure that could happen, right? I don't know how. I know they're flammable. I don't know how explosive they are because these pagers actually exploded.
They catch fire, everything will explode. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, to the point where it seemed like there was like some kind of explosives in them, not
Oh,
just.
I had heard that they did put small amounts of explosives in each device somehow.
Yeah, they were
Right.
saying that there's 3 grams of C4 in each pager,
Right.
but then they were
The
saying
logistics.
others were blowing up too. Like so, like it's confusing. The whole story is confusing.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll never know. It's because we're only getting what they want us to know, right? We're not getting the full journalistic spectrum of it. We're getting the narrative they want put out and what we're being told.
Have you seen that? Did you see the Tesla cars in where the flooding was? All of them exploding, fire.
Yeah, I saw one video of one catching fire in a flooded garage.
He
Yeah.
he went for profit over safety, and he didn't have the batteries protected. I mean, it's obvious that water damage can happen. I mean, that's something he should have thought about. The dude's trying to go to Mars, and he can't get an electric car right. I mean, seriously.
Is it? Yeah, but is it? So, in other words, is this like a one-off, or is this like a problem with all of them?
No, there was a problem with a few of them. There was flooding, and a lot of the cars. You could, I mean, you could look into it yourself and find it. It's on mainstream media if that's what you trust. I mean, it's all over. But yeah, they were catching fire, and it's
Crazy.
because the battery's not protected. They're not in something. They're not sealed. enough where they're protected from flooding.
Right.
So
Which
it's an
you
all
think.
I've seen interviews with him where he says that the batteries are waterproof, but obviously not in this case.
You
Yeah.
saw the video of the fire, right?
Yeah,
And
I did. Yep. There's a white Tesla in a garage, and yeah,
yeah,
just catches fire.
yep.
Well, then you've also heard of Teslas, like, because they got that full self-driving feature where it's like dignitaries have been driven like into a lake in a locked car, couldn't get out, and is this? I
Yeah,
mean,
I got friends that use those robo taxis, and I'm just like, fuck that.
That was in Leave the World Behind when they had all the Teslas. They had all the Teslas blocking the road. I don't know if you saw that movie, but they had all the Teslas,
Oh, I
and
didn't watch that.
the highway up.
talking about them.
The Obama movie, Leave the World
Yeah,
Behind.
that's why I didn't watch it.
No, it was actually a movie that you should watch because it'll show you what can happen.
Bobby, you watching the debate tonight? The vice presidential debate?
I may watch a little bit, but I cannot stand. I cannot stand. But I'm gonna watch a tiny bit of it probably.
Yeah. My thing with watching stuff live now is like, I don't know if I could rely on videos that have been made after the fact because I don't know if they did some fakes in them and stuff. It's like you almost got to watch it live to make sure what they're putting together after the fact is correct.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Because with deepfake technology and the AI, it's getting crazy.
Mhm.
Like you guys were talking about before, deepfakes are gonna get unreal.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Gracious audience out there. Next week we do have another guest coming on. Mr. Mike Jones will be on.
Then tell him who Mike Jones is.
Do you want me to tell him, or do you want you to tell him, Chad?
I can tell him he's a Pennsylvania congressman, representative, Republican from York County. So he's from my county.
First politician on the show.
Yep. And he wants to come in and talk about the election. But yeah, it'd be cool. He's a successful businessman from York, and he decided to run for as a representative for the state of Pennsylvania.
So
And he's
we're
been
gonna
in, I
monitor-
think, for 3 or 4 terms now. But anyway, it'd be cool
and
to
he's
talk to
coming
Mike.
up for an election because he wants his agenda and stuff to be put out there and all that jazz. So it'll be cool, fun for us.
I mean, I think seeing business people getting into politics was actually a great idea because the country is a fucking business. I mean,
Yep, exactly.
it was incorporated in 1870s. I mean, I don't know
Right.
if people know about this, but if you do your research, you could find out that the United States is a corporation.
That's right. It's a giant corporation.
Well, we had actors, right? Reagan was an actor, so we had him as a president. But now we're getting into the businessmen, becoming real politicians and showing people how to run stuff properly.
Exactly.
Which is good. Folks, go out there, get vaccinated. COVID-19 is real. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart.
Actually, all the normies, the 99% of you could get vaccinated. Please.
Yes.
Just
Go ahead,
they're pushing.
normies.
Please do yourself a favor.
Yes. All right, gracious audience, we love you. We shall see you next Tuesday. Chad and myself will be on Instagram Live coming up this week. We'll tell you the date coming up, probably somewhere between Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll discuss it afterwards, let you know for sure.
Yeah, probably Friday. The kids go back to mom's on Friday, so
Okay. Well, you
I'll
heard
have
it
the
there.
evening free. Yes.
Evening free.
You want
Probably-
to talk about the port shutdown? Port shutdown.
We can quickly, but
Yeah.
you're getting my bladder problem.
Man,
Well-
you gotta get that checked out, brother.
Dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I drink 2 cups of coffee beforehand. I pee like at 12:45, so I don't do it. But it's now 2:40, and that's almost 2 hours. I'm gonna wear a diaper, but I don't
Let's
know.
talk about ports and then
Yeah.
gotta go.
All right, I have one thing I could share real quick that's talking about the port.
Well, so by the way, this was not covered on mainstream media probably until today. Fucking
Right, until it happened.
huge. I mean, this is from Maine to Texas, all the ports. This is what it's affecting.
The East Coast is completely shut. New Jersey ports, Newark port shuts down. You know, it's going to cause prices to go even higher than they are.
Yep.
The market is already taking a hit. Like everything is down. So
I saw that.
if you're into crypto or stocks, now's the time to buy the dips. I mean, have if you have
But this is also going to cause like food shortage
Food
problems.
shortages, car shortages, lumber, like building material shortages, I mean everything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Bottled water, you know, shit that we need, shit that this could have been avoided, shit that the
Right.
White House could have been involved with long before the shutdown happened. But
And like I said, no one covered it until fucking now. Like you didn't hear a goddamn peep about it until the shit shut down.
Yeah.
And the president's like, "Oh, I can't get involved." Okay, yeah. Don't worry about this. This is fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But send another $2 billion to Ukraine. That's fucking higher on your priority list. But don't worry about shutting down all the ports in the country. It's all good.
Exactly. And there's a Hartley Taft Act that he could use to make them do it, to make them go to work, you know?
Right. Yep.
It's easy. And he said, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved. This is something that they have to discuss over the table." I mean, it's insane what's going on.
Well, it's clear that they're not getting it. The talks aren't working, right? Because the shutdown has happened. So
Right. It's here.
it's
Yeah.
here. It's the time to get involved was before this happened, you fucking moron behind the wheel, Joe Biden. And now that it has happened, it's certainly time for you to get involved and try to help us.
But yeah, he's too busy going on vacation, going to the beach.
It's
Yeah.
just
Better things to do. He can't even care less about fucking North Carolina. He doesn't give a shit.
No.
it's by design. I see it. I see the design and everything. I see the pattern, and everything, and it's just something I see.
Well,
I mean, Trump already went and visited North Carolina. It's donated 25 million bucks. Kamala, nothing. Joe Biden, nothing. Made one comment about it. I was on the phone for 2 hours about it yesterday. Oh, okay. Sounds like you got a lot done.
Yeah,
And you put a cap on your day at 2 hours on the phone. You're like, oh, I got to go to bed now. You fucking jackass.
Yeah, he was on the phone for 2 hours, Chad, and it still got shut down and all that.
I'm not talking about the strike. I'm talking about North Carolina and the floods and shit.
Oh. But
The
still,
military should really take over the government. The military should just take over. The military.
don't say that. Don't say that.
I mean, for real. I mean, there's a point where that can happen.
Right.
Well, you got no one at the wheel. No one is. I mean, who the fuck is driving this ship?
Exactly.
Right. Just so everybody's aware, I'm still for democracy. I'm not for martial law and all that stuff, as Bobby's saying.
No, I'm not for that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying
He's
that.
just saying who's running the government. Who the fuck is running? Who's in charge? Who is in charge?
Yeah,
I mean, Biden already basically got cooed out by fucking, not being able to run. They basically said you're not running. He's like, he had to bow out.
Yeah, and
that's basically a coup. I mean, that's a coup.
Right.
They just fucking took an active sitting president and told him, no, you're not running. And they put a selected candidate in for him. Like, oh, okay. Sounds completely democratic and normal to me.
He was so adamant about he is going to run unless God himself comes in and tells him he shouldn't.
I guess God came in and told him.
Yeah. And then
Obama.
He's got the complete opposite. Well, I should step down. And our vice president, Kamala, is the best candidate for the job. Like, motherfucker, that's not what you said 3 days ago. You said, unless God stepped in, you were the best person, most fit for it. And then now all of a sudden you're out.
Well, his God, Obama did step in.
Right. What do you say, Bobby?
I said this is basically Obama's third term. I mean, he's doing everything. I guarantee you.
Oh, and if silly Connolly gets in, it'll be his fourth term.
Exactly. I was just kidding.
Silent majority.
And by the way, if anyone that's out there like, oh, he's not doing that, there's a fucking video of him saying if there's a way for him to get a third term or a fourth term, he would do it. And look what we have.
Yep. He would be the.
So here you go.
That's a dictator.
Pulling the strings because Biden's constantly going, they won't let me do that. They won't let me say that. They won't let me take questions. Who's they, motherfucker?
Right. Jill? Is Jill they? Miss Biden? She seems to have left him and she seems to no longer be carrying Mrs. Biden. Like she just walks past him right now, lets him kind of stumble by. She's not taking his sweet care as she once was once he was the leader.
Oh, he doesn't have the power he did.
Right.
It's really
Anyway.
insane.
Well,
Really,
gracious audience, please go out there. Silent majority, please go out there in November and do your civil duty and go out there and vote, 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 vote per candidate, not per party. Vote for who has your best interest in mind. Vote for who has the America's, who wants to make America healthy again, make America great again, make America fucking better. Vote for that person. I'm not saying who that is, but vote for that person.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you guys. Peace all over the world.